Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video I've seen going around on YouTube that I've been dying to film, and it is going over my old Sephora orders. My Sephora orders go back to 2009, my first one was. They go back a long time. The person who came up with this idea is Taylor, so I will leave her channel linked down below and her video if you want to go check her out. She comes up with amazing original content. Definitely a must watch. She is the one who originated this idea and I've seen everyone do it and I've really wanted to do it myself. So I pulled up my Sephora history. We're going all the way back to 2009. So if you want to see my first ever Sephora orders, then just keep watching. So in 2009, I would have been 22, turning 23. And I say this because my first Sephora order was on March 30th, 2009. And that would have been a day before my 23rd birthday. So that was my first time ever at Sephora, and it was at the Toronto Eaton Centre. Shout out to Toronto Eaton Centre. Before that, I was a MAC girl. If you guys followed my blog, I think 2009 was when I started my blog. So this was when things were starting to really pick up for my love for makeup. My ability to do makeup, my love for makeup blossomed on my blog. Then my blog, people requested me to start YouTube. So that's kind of how I started my YouTube journey, but it all started at Toronto Eaton Centre. And the first two products that I picked up, which I think is so classic, is the Nars Bronzing Powder in Laguna and Nars Orgasm Blush. Two cult classics, and back in 2009, those were so popular, everyone was using them, and I wanted to get my hands on them as well. I went there as a birthday treat. I remember going with my friends. We were probably celebrating at some bar. That was during my party girl stage, so we were out having a good time, I'm certain. So I love that that was my first Sephora order, because those are two iconic products. And you will see going over my orders, I love Nars. I was obsessed with Nars, particularly their blush. My next documented Sephora order was over a year later, May 8th of 2010, and it was at Sephora White Oaks, which is the one that I frequent, and Masonville, so I go to London now. And I picked up the Makeup Forever Lift Concealer, Neutral Beige 3, and the Korres Lip Butter in Jasmine. I still love that lip butter from Korres. I don't use the Lift Concealer anymore. I probably bought that because of someone I was either reading or watching on YouTube. I honestly can't remember that one. This is when things started to pick up. I guess was 2010 for me. So on May 18th of 2010, I bought my first Saint Tropez tanning mousse. So I've been tanning, self-tanning since then. So for 8 years, I've been self-tanning and I loved Saint Tropez. You're gonna see in my orders that I buy a lot of tanner. So that's when I really got into self-tanning. I was blogging and my blog bestie was Natty from Miss Natty's Beauty Diary. She doesn't blog so much anymore, here and there, but I loved her. She was the reason I got into blogging and she was my first blog friend. I come home from work, school, and I would always go on her blog. She made me obsessed with self-tanning and some of these products that you will see. So shout out to her. She got this all started for me. The next product I purchased was on August 21st and it was Nars Sheer Glow in Stromboli. I still love that foundation. I used that for years. It was my holy grail for so long. They created the best yellow undertone foundations, which I thought I was at the time. I just used yellow because everyone else was and I didn't really know what I was doing. And I think with my Saint Tropez, it did pull a little bit more yellow, but still using that foundation now, it's definitely too yellow for me. But I love the formula of it. And then we move on to November 13th, 2010. I wasn't placing too many orders, not like now. It's like 2 a week, I swear. So I bought the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in 0 and also the Versace Bright Crystal because of Natalie. I loved her so much and I took her recommendations. It was my beauty Bible, she was. I followed her recommendations to a T. If she recommended Versace Bright Crystal, I picked up Versace Bright Crystal, so. Then on December 11th, I picked up the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation in Punjab. I must have not been tanning so much. Followed by Saint Tropez Tanning Essentials Self-Tan Bronzing Mousse. So obviously I wanted to get more tan. And then I was really into the Clinique line for skincare. And I would pick up their liquid facial soap. And I remember using their whole 3-step system Their moisturizer was so popular on YouTube. I remember the Dramatically Different, I think it was called. This was at the Eaton Center as well. I picked up 2 more Nars blushes because I was obsessed. And I got Angelica, which is a cotton candy pink, which I remember I gave away. I still have Luster, though. I love that color. Moving on to March 30th, 2011, because apparently the day before my birthday, I always go to Sephora. I got another Nars blush in Deep Throat, the Shuamura eyelash curler, which I still use to this day, and the Too Faced Naked Eye Soft and Sexy eyeshadow palette. I might still have that. I only saved it because I think it was one of the first eyeshadow palettes that I had. I remember doing a tutorial, and if I can find which one it was, and if it's still on my YouTube channel, I'm going to link it in this video, unfortunately. But if I can find it, I'll put in a still image or something so you guys can go check it out. But that was, I remember filming with that, and I loved that palette. Loved. I use that all the time. And then May 5th, I got more self-tanner. I think this is the first time in my life where I've cut back on self-tanning. Is right now. I always felt my best with a nice fresh self-tan on. So I only use the Saint Tropez for very, very long. I want to buy that again because I haven't used it in so long. And I remember obviously absolutely loving it. And I finally bought an applicator mitt, because I think I was using rubber gloves prior to that. After the self-tanning order in May, we go to August, which has more self-tanner and an applicator mitt. I think these are some mini sizes, but I bought a big size of the Nars Larger Than Life Long Wear Eyeliner in Rue Bonaparte. I remember loving that. It was a flesh tone eyeliner. I still believe I have that one. August 15th, more Clinique liquid facial soap. I bought a travel brush, which I still have. Some more Sheer Glow. I don't know how far you guys want me to go, but we're in 2012, which I think I will stop, and I bought another 0 of the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eye pencil. That was my holy grail eye pencil. Nothing could be better than that. It was so dark, and then they came out with Perversion, and that beat it for me. But I love that. And then the Laura Mercier foundation primer. I had a deluxe sample in Radiance, and I remember, I think that was the first primer that I really got into, and I went through so many full sizes of that. I loved that. And then I also bought the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. I did have the original, but I don't have that documented. I don't know what happened there. I probably didn't use my card or something. I'd always buy the latest Naked palettes, and the first Naked palette was one of my most popular tutorials, actually. So I didn't have too many orders back in the early years when I first started out. I wasn't making that much money back then. I don't think I got my good job until 2010. January of 2010 is when I started working at the factory, and I was actually making decent income. Before then, I was a starving student. Everything I bought would go towards blog or YouTube, and I would utilize those products so much. You could obviously see my favorites. I would go through things, and I miss that. I miss like really cherishing a product, and I still do. I still have that love for makeup. Back then, when you were first starting out your collection, you're just so excited, and I still have that excitement towards makeup, but when you just, I don't know, it's that feeling when you first get into something and find your passion. Like, that was it for me. Back in 2009 when I started my blog, I was doing that because I loved it so much, and it's just so cool to kind of see my beginnings with makeup through my orders, which is, I don't know. I love that my first order was Nars Laguna and Orgasm Blush. That just makes me so happy for some reason, just because those are such cult classic. And I can just think of that time in my life when those were so popular on YouTube. I was watching YouTube, learning how to do makeup. I had no idea how to do makeup when I started. And when I even started blogging, I had no idea how to do makeup. And I was just learning with my readers. And it's just such a special time for me. And I will never forget it. Never. Why is my order history making me emotional? I don't know why. Those are my first Sephora orders. I can also do this with MAC because I know I was a MAC girl when I first started out. So all my money was going to mostly MAC, not Sephora. I wasn't too into Sephora at the time, except for Nars, apparently, and self-tanning was evidently what I went to Sephora for. So if you want to see this, but with my MAC orders, I'd love to do that. I was going back, and it starts in 2009 as well. So that's when beauty just took off for me, and I fell in love. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, walking down memory lane with me. I enjoyed making it so much, and I will see you guys in my next video.